guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back here at Tampa Honda, and guess what? We have the largest vehicle that Honda currently sells. It's this vehicle right here. This is a 2025 Honda Pilot, but this one is the Pilot Trailsport. But before we get into this all-wheel drive V6 powered Pilot, let's talk about what's going on here. So in the mid-size three-row SUV segment, there's a lot of players, a lot of them, especially over recent years with the Kia Telluride and the Hyundai Palisade. Now, it seems that more and more brands are offering these off-road trims. Hyundai has a Palisade XRT, there's a X Pro and an X Line and all that from Kia with the Telluride, but one that really matches up well with this Pilot, believe it or not, is the Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek Edition. What I want to find out is if you're looking for three-row flexibility, but you also want that off-road look and you actually want to do some light off-roading, do you go with the Pilot Trailsport or do you go Rock Creek from the Pathfinder with Nissan? Let's go ahead, let's dive into our Pilot and find out. Right off the bat, this is like the Stormtrooper spec. Love the pearlescent white with the black and gray accents. Up front, you're gonna get full LED lighting. So you have your LED headlights, daytime running lamp, and turn signal. You'll notice on the Trailsport, you're gonna get some gloss black eyebrow trim here. And then working your way down, you get a little bit more gloss black, but we have massive functional corner air curtains, some flat black, and LED fog lamps. So nice to see that actual functionality and also getting some fog lamps, because if you are driving off-road at night especially, things are going to get very dark. It's nice to have a little bit of extra illumination. Now, as we come across the front grille, you do have gloss black on the grille, forward-facing camera with a washer, and the Trailsport badge. That is unique to the Trailsport. Working our way down, that pearlescent white with the flat black on the lower grille and a little bit of flat metallic silver. But definitely a lot bolder in appearance on this latest generation of the Pilot. The Pilot was starting to look almost like a minivan. It was so curved. But let me know what you think about the face of this, especially when we're comparing it to the Pathfinder Rock Creek Edition. Now, as we rise up, love the way you got a nice high bold hood. Just has a slight bend to meet with the black grille, that pearlescent white. As we come around the bend, this is where things get really good. I'm digging these off-road style wheels. It's actually got the Trailsport name embossed in the wheel, gunmetal, metallic gray wheel, that Y-spoke design all the way around, and you'll notice it's wrapped with those Continental terrain contact off-road tires. These are real deal off-road tires with your side shielding. Tire size is gonna be 265 on the width, 60 series sidewall, and then I'm gonna have Steven kind of show off the suspension that's been specifically tuned for the Trailsport, the shock absorber, the spring. You got a little bit of flat black around the fender opening, nothing too crazy. What I like is that, of course, you get standard all-wheel drive when you go Pilot Trailsport, and the fact that you have a 10-speed automatic. That's another nice choice. Coming down the side, you got gloss black on your mirror caps, your LED turn signals. Would have been, you can see, it's nice that we have the 360-degree cameras. From the side, you can see that mid-size shape to it. And these are very similar in size, Pathfinder to the Pilot. You have those raised roof rails. They have flat black supports with a gloss black roof rail up there. Matches nicely with the gloss black on the door handles. And then you have your flat black, just like around the fender openings on the lower side sill extension. Working our way towards the rear, they do a cool job with the quarter glass. I like the way it's shaped. It's not all connected. You got a little bit of body color in there. And then as we spin it around back, just like the headlights, they did a great job with the LED taillights. The only problem is the zonk on that old-fashioned light bulb for the turn signals. Short roof spoiler. Would have been nice if they would have made the spoiler a little bit longer so they could hide this underneath the spoiler. So I am going to zonk that wiper, but I like the way they have the Pilot name, flat black letters within the gloss black. Of course, you got your Trailsport badge. And then as we work our way down to ground level, you'll notice that we have that same flat silver finish with the black, and we got our full tow receiver. You could tow up to 5,000 pounds with the Pilot, and I like the way that they got these recovery tow hooks. You could use these as recovery tow hooks at the back. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk about power of our Pilot. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have a prop rod. I am gonna zonk that. That should have 2 hood struts underneath, but what I'm definitely not gonna zonk is that power plant. That is that tried and true naturally aspirated V6. It's a 3.5 liter V6 putting out 285 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque. Now, the good news is you got naturally aspirated V6 power. The bad news is that if you're comparing this to the Pathfinder Rock Creek Edition has more horsepower, and it could tow an extra 1,000 pounds. So it could tow up to 6,000 pounds, where you could tow up to 5,000 pounds with the Pilot Trailsport. This does have a 10-speed automatic, whereas the Pathfinder does have a 9-speed automatic. 0 to 60 in about 7 seconds. MPGs with the all-wheel drive, you're looking around 18 in the city, 24 on the highway, and the vehicle weighs a tick under 5,000 pounds. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this V6 and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we're inside this 2025 Honda Pilot Trailsport. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I need a new SUV, but I don't want something that's going to make me look like a soccer mom. I definitely don't want something that's going to make me look like Old Man River. I'm digging the look of this Pilot Trailsport, but how much is it? This one has an MSRP of $51,000. Quite competitive to what that Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek Edition is going to bring. But let's see if Honda did it better. To the door panels. I do like the nice style. Soft touch material up top. There is some gloss black, but you shouldn't really be touching that for any reason. Then you'll notice the orange contrast stitching on the armrest. That's part of the Trailsport package. You have your off-road Twinkie tray there. That's where you're going to put your chocolate-filled Twinkies. And you have your Yeti can holder. Nice to have that large opening to put your big bottles. And then down in that bottom pocket, you'll easily be able to put 18 Nature Valley granola bars. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, more Trailsport orange stitching. You do have your required Baker's Dozen box. That's what they call this, the Baker Dozen box for your 13 Twinkies up top. You slide on in. Pilot only has a 9-inch infotainment system, and I always found that to be funny that they didn't give it the 12.3-inch, but it's got that nice touchscreen, easy, swipeable features. The cabin talk, so you don't have to raise your voice when you want to yell at your kids. You can do it right through the speaker system. And then you do get a real volume knob. Let me throw it into reverse. Camera quality is decent. It's not fantastic, it's decent, but you do have your trajectory, your 360. And of course, what's great is that, let me put it back in the park, you hit this button right here where it says camera. That's for your trail watch. So watch this. Hit the button. There it is out the front. There it is, so you don't scratch those nice looking wheels. Real easy to use. That's the smartest engineering right there. You got your start stop button, conveniently placed. We do have dual climate control, but you're only getting heated seats, no ventilated seats. You got your controls for your rear AC. You got a place where you can put your atomic fireballs, USB-A, USB-C, 12 volt, and down below you can fill this up with Jolly Ranchers, plus you have your wireless charging. This is going to control your 10-speed automatic. You got your drive mode selector switch, your hill descent control, 2 cup holders, and your Honda key fob with remote start. More Trailsport stitching. Open this up. You could easily fill this up with trail mix. I love trail mix, and if it's a special day, you could put some M&Ms in there with your trail mix. A little bit of sweet, a little bit of salty. Sounds good to me. Seats, we got the Trailsport embroidery, all hand stitched. Love the orange accents. You do have electric assist for the passenger, electric assist for the driver, of course, and we got that power shade for our panoramic sunroof. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel of this Pilot Trailsport. Business time behind the wheel. You do have 2 memory seat settings. Down below, you do have your seat controls. Easy to get to, especially that lower lumbar. I'm 6 feet tall. If you need more room, you're not buying a Honda unless you're going to ride in the bed of a Ridgeline, because there's plenty of room in here. Steering wheel, the leather is great. You got the orange stitching. It is a heated steering wheel. You just do that and the steering wheel will get hot. Flat black on the switchgear. You do have paddles to go up and down that 10-speed automatic. It is a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then I'm a little sad that you get the older 7-inch digital gauge cluster with the analog speedometer. It would have been nice to have that whole thing be digital, but you can scroll through a cornucopia of information like your all-wheel drive distribution. No head-up display in the Pilot Trailsport. That's another bummer. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the mid-row and the third row and see if your passengers are going to be happy that you went with the Pilot. Hey guys, mid-row time in this 3-row midsize SUV. I do like the way the seats look great, just like up front with the stitching. You do get an armrest, and they actually made it a little bit larger. So they do listen to me when I zonk them on the little 2-pick. So armrest is pretty good with the contrast stitching. Backs of the seats, more stitching. You got a large pocket. This is where you're gonna put your Discman, your Sony Discman, maybe your case of CDs. And then this is where you're gonna put your old Samsung flip phone. You could fit it right in there. I miss those days. I'm so sick of smartphones. They're really not that smart. And some of the people that use them are really not smart. You do have your AC vents in the back. I do like the way you have your climate controls, USB-C, a home power source. I'm sitting here, feel good because I could keep the sun out of my face. I could slide, I could do this. Ooh, it kind of looks weird on camera, I bet. And then you can recline a little bit, which is great. Now what we're gonna do is, I know Steven doesn't like doing this, is we're gonna do this all in one shot. Watch this. Boop, boop, doo, doo. Hit the button. Get that out of the way, and now I'm gonna literally drop back. Let me get these seat belts out of the way. I don't know who they're buckling in the ghosts. Not too bad. My knees are on the lower side. I'm not close to the headliner. I have my own AC vent back here, USB-Cs for both people, and I got my own cup holders. So I actually feel pretty good. And the seats do have the orange stitching. It's not like they just left them plain Jane. But let's go ahead. There's something back here. What is that? We're gonna find out. Let's go into that cargo area and see what we can fit in this Pilot. All right guys, cargo area time. Gonna hit the button, nice electric assist, rises up, and what you're gonna be greeted to is a very usable space, and this is why. So you have these nice little cubbies, one larger for a gallon of milk. The other side here, you could put at least one Costco hot dog. That's the perfect holder for that. But what I find even better is, check this out. You got usable storage underneath. The only zonk is that would have been great to turn this into a cooler. That would have been the one perfect thing. Now, when it comes to folding down the seats, you can see how they're gonna fold basically 50-50 pretty much. All manual controls. In the back, actually, let me show you on this side. In the back, here's the USB-C I was trying to show you. And there's the AC vent for the third row passengers. That mid-row folds down, and then you're good to go. But why don't we go ahead, since we are good to go, I'm feeling pretty good to go, let's go get behind the wheel of this Pilot Trailsport and go for a spin. All right, guys, we are inside this 2025 Pilot Trailsport, and right away, you're gonna love the layout of the interior. They really have updated it very nicely, improved upon it. Like I said, it's a little sad that you don't get a full digital gauge cluster, but you'll notice by using the drive mode selector switch, there are extra modes when you go Pilot Trailsport. You actually have trail, sand, and tow, which is really nice. Now, I'm gonna leave it in sport mode for our driving here on the asphalt jungle. Getting to that 9-inch infotainment system is well within reach. Love the wireless charging and the great visibility. The visibility in here is really, really fantastic. And if you haven't driven a mid-size 3-row, it's actually quite confidence inspiring to drive this vehicle because of the visibility, how everything is laid out in here. And you could really see where your visual reference points are, especially with the Trail Watch system. Not only does the Trail Watch work on trails, but it also works in your daily commute. I mean, look how good it's showing the vehicles around us. And I think that's really going to be helpful for when you're parking, especially like at somewhere like the airport. Parking can be very, very tight and very, very hard to maneuver. Having the 3-row flexibility is great. I just wish that this had ventilated seats. I mean, for $51,000, it's sad that they cut the ventilated seats. It would be nice to have the ventilated seats, but everything else is well appointed in here and well laid out. The seat material, I think, is going to be easy to keep clean. And I know some people want an actual shifter rather than the push button transmission setup, but it really does free up this space here. Without having a shifter right here, it allows you to get that easy access to the wireless charging, to the cubby area, and all the connectivity that goes with it as well. And that's the one thing that's nice about the Trailsport. All 3 rows have good connectivity. But pulling away from the light, you can see the all-wheel drive display on our instrumentation. Remember, 70% of the power goes to the rear wheels, and then out of that 70%, 100% can go left or right, depending on where that power is needed. You do have paddles, like I said, to go up and down the 10-speed automatic. And then another thing you're gonna love is the 10-speed is very, very smart. It doesn't chase through gears. It knows exactly what gear to be in at any given time. And that just overall, makes the driving experience that much better. They did a great job on the rigidity of the chassis. They also did a good job on the sound deadening material, and that's important because remember, this does have real deal off-road spec tires, so you are going to get a little bit more road noise. But the good news is, with the sound deadening material and the rigidity, extra rigidity, you're not getting a lot of that noise inside the cabin. Torque delivery is very smooth, very linear, and of course, when it comes to handling, Hondas always have really good feedback through the wheel to give you some really good handling characteristics. All right, guys, pulling away from the light, let me show you a U-turn. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I'm gonna come to a complete stop. You ready? On throttle, here we go. So power gets to the ground very effectively with the good all-wheel drive system. No slip, all grip. You are getting some sound pumped in through the speakers when you do go on throttle, but other than that, you're not hearing that extra sound, which is nice. But the torque delivery is so linear and the engine is super smooth. But at the end of the day, the Pathfinder does have, like I said, a little bit more horsepower, a little bit more torque, and better towing capacity. But, it's one of those things that it's not huge. It's not like 10,000 pound towing capacity compared to 5,000. We're just talking about a 1,000 pound difference, basically. Seats are comfy, supportive, and I do like the ride in here. Even though this is an off-road spec trim, it's not bouncy, it's not floaty. It feels very composed and connected to the road, as it should be. But I'm hoping that this has been a good overall quick review of this Pilot Trailsport. We're gonna get back to Tampa Honda and wrap this one up. So I will see you in a split second. All right, guys, another great day in so many ways here at Tampa Honda. Definitely gonna thank the whole crew for getting us access to this 2025 Pilot Trailsport. Let me know what you think. Are you going Honda or are you going Nissan with the Pathfinder Rock Creek Edition? Let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, then you're being part of the Raise Rides family. God, give it up to Stephen Flood, man. Without him, none of this would be possible. So thank you, Stephen, for coming out and hanging out with us. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.